Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
This could be a banner day for the Philadelphia Eagles, thanks in part to this man, Jeff Garcia, who has led the Philadelphia Eagles to 4 straight victories. And today, before the home fans at Lincoln Financial Field, looking to wrap up the division title as they take on the Atlanta Falcons in the final regular season game. Happy New Year, everyone. Dick Stockton along with Troy Aikman and Pam Oliver. The Atlanta Falcons eliminated from the playoffs, but right now they stand as the one obstacle to the Eagles, who can capture the NFC East title. And what an improbable story this is. This was a team that was 5-6. They lost one of the marquee players in the league, Donovan McNabb, but they have won 4 tough games since then, Troy, and here they are.
Yeah, you look at this team and you think back to that first win that they had to start this streak against Carolina. Not a real impressive win, but each week since that, they've looked better and better. And I think that you look back to the game last week against the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas night, and that really legitimized what they've done. This team's playing with tremendous confidence, and they really believe in what it is that they're doing. And there's no question that Jeff Garcia has had a lot to do with that. He's been a great leader for this football team, but probably the group, in my opinion, that's had just as much to do with it has been the defense, particularly that defensive line. Whereas earlier they were not getting much pressure on the quarterback, they've been great here over the last few ball games, and they've also done an outstanding job stopping the run.
Meanwhile, the Atlanta Falcons have had a soap opera kind of season, you might say, and they have fizzled down the stretch. And a lot of questions about this team. They have been eliminated, as we say. So what can you learn about a team that really doesn't have anything specific to play for?
Well, I think you look at the Atlanta Falcons all week long. They prepared as if they were going to be given an opportunity at least to be playing to get into postseason play. Jim Mora last night at the team hotel had a very emotional message to his football team saying regardless of what was at stake, they needed to go out and prove that they were a good football team. Well, when that meeting ended, they found out that they were eliminated from playoff contention, and now I think it's an opportunity to find out about the leadership and the character of this football team, particularly Michael Vick, who's coming off one of his worst games of the season last week versus Carolina.
There you see the Atlanta sideline, and Algie Crumpler, and a disappointing year for the Falcons, who have had a good start, began at 5-2. And Jim Mora has his team at 7-8. Meanwhile, one of the key reasons, besides Jeff Garcia, you saw Brian Westbrook. Falcons will get the ball first, and David Akers gets this game underway with a kick that bounces at the 5 and goes in for a touchback. And right now, let's check in with Pam Oliver.
Hey, Dick, and one of the reasons the Eagles have been able to turn this bad boy around has been the play of the defense. Now, that unit has taken accountability one step further. They have organized players-only meetings with no coaches present in that situation. They have taken that meeting, though. They don't just necessarily sit around and gripe about things. They do constructive things. They watch film together. They have the game plan together. They correct and critique each other as well. 2 of the players who started those are Jeremiah Trotter and Brian Dawkins. They are obviously consummate team leaders. Back to you.
No question about it, Pam, and this team has hung in there with the adversity that they had. The first play is a handoff to Warwick Dunn, and no gain on the play. And let's take a look now at the Falcons offensive line, and leading the league in rushing. Troy, they've had to do something right up there.
Well, they have, and they have all season long. I mean, this is not an overly big group, and that hurts them in pass protection. But one of the reasons why they're the #1 rushing offense in the National Football League is due to the athleticism of that group up front.
2nd down and 10, and getting Matt Lair back. Todd McClure, the center, has a contract extension. And then again, they go to Warwick Dunn, and the Eagle defensive line limits Dunn to a 2-yard gain. Jeremiah Trotter making the tackle. You talked at the outset about the defensive line, and Jim Johnson's group has really stepped up in the last few months.
Well, when you look at what happened to them in the middle of the season when they were not playing very good football, and why it is so dramatically different here over the last 4 weeks, especially the last 2 weeks, it's been due to those 4 defensive players up front.
3rd down and 8. Eagles will not blitz. Michael Vick to throw for the first time if he can. And Vick's toss, batted in the air. It was intended for Warwick Dunn downfield and covered by Brian Dawkins, who has picked up his game dramatically in the last month. So 3 and out, and the Falcons continue to struggle with opening drive offense.
And one of the things in talking with Jim Johnson was that he did not want Michael Vick to be able to get to his play side and throw the ball, but they didn't get hurt on that last play.
Michael Kanan with the punt, and it goes out of bounds around midfield, so the Eagles will see good field position following the 28-yard punt by Kanan. So 36-year-old Jeff Garcia, 4-1 record after taking over for Donovan McNabb. And of course, he's been with several clubs, as we know, and has really relished taking over the leadership of this club.
Well, a lot's been made of the way that he has played and the confidence that he has brought to this team. But I think that his game has elevated during this 4-game stretch as well. He's certainly enjoying himself. In fact, he told us that he's having more fun than he has at any other point in his career, even going back to the successful days that he had there in San Francisco.
Starting at midfield are the Eagles. Garcia to throw and getting a big pass rush, but completing to Brian Westbrook. Here goes Westbrook, and tripped up inside the 25-yard line. An explosive start for Philadelphia.
Well, this is really what Jeff Garcia has done a good job of here over the last couple of weeks. Demario Williams comes in untouched and puts pressure on Garcia, but because he's able to move out to his play side, he finds the Brian Westbrook and gets it into his hands, and it looked like Westbrook was going to go the entire way, but a good touchdown saving tackle there at the end by Chris Crocker.
And a great block by Dante Stallworth, a 29-yard pickup and a first down at the 21 of Atlanta. And we have the first penalty. It'll be a false start call.
False start, offense, number 86, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Terry McCauley, today's referee. Reggie Brown called for the false start. Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, they have been healthy, intact, and have really come up big in the last couple of games.
You know, and that's really been the key. I mean, it doesn't sound all that great to football fans out there when you talk about the offensive and defensive lines, but you know, as much as the defensive line for the Eagles has had to do with their defensive success, this offensive line has been outstanding as well.
First down and 15 after the penalty. Garcia's pass, trying to get it to Stallworth. And right now, let's take a look at the Atlanta Falcons defense. 10th against the run. Grady Jackson has had a big year. John Abraham, though, has been banged up, and that's hurt them.
Yeah, and you look at that defensive front, the job that they've done against the run. They really have been good in that area. Now, where they have struggled has been with this group. The secondary for the Atlanta Falcons has not played as well as what they would like. D'Angelo Hall, of course, a Pro Bowl player, but they've had to shuffle a lot of players there on the other corner opposite of him.
2nd and 15, the handoff to Westbrook. And Westbrook picking up about 3 yards. Chris Crocker, the free safety in. You talk about injuries to the secondary. Jason Webster, the starting cornerback, hurt, and Kevin Mathis also was banged up. So they were thin to begin with in the defensive secondary. It'll be 3rd down and long. Ed Donatel, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons.
Ed Donatel has been a very successful defensive coordinator in this league for a long time. Most people, however, remember that big 4th down conversion against the Green Bay Packers that kept the Eagles alive in the playoffs many years ago.
3rd and 12. Garcia gets good protection and on the run. The pass incomplete, intended for Stallworth and batted down by Lawyer Malloy. So 4th down coming up, and Akers will come on to try a field goal. So the big play to Westbrook, and now the Falcon defense tightens, and Akers, who was 3 for 3 last week, will attempt a 41-yard field goal. And Akers puts the Eagles in front, 3-0. with a 41-yard field goal. And right now for a game break, let's check in with Joe Buck in Los Angeles. Joe.
All right, so Dick, you got the 3-point lead there for Philly. How about the NFC Eastern Division crown for the Eagles? 5th time last 6 years. Tony Romo, 4th and goal, could not get in. It's an 8-point Detroit lead. That game about to wind down. So Dallas on their way to a loss. The Eagles win the division. Congratulations to Andy Reid and company. Dick and Troy and Pam, back to you.
And the Eagles and their fans know this. This is the 5th NFC East title in the last 6 years for Philadelphia. Romo stopped, as you saw, on 4th down at the 1-yard line.
Well, now you see Andy Reid and Jim Johnson conversing, and you just wonder what starters now are going to be rested. There's no question that Andy Reid, in previous seasons, when given an opportunity to rest players going into the last game of the season, he has done that, knowing that they're going to have to come back next week and play again here at home. I would have to believe that they're going to begin resting players immediately. I
would think so. I happened to run into Juan Castillo, the offensive line coach of the Eagles, a little while ago. I said, what do you do if Dallas loses the game? And he felt that they would start to make changes in the second half, but we'll see what they do now that they know the result there. So the Eagles can take a deep breath now as they've won the division, and Akers kicking off. Allen Rawson at the 1, returning for Atlanta. And runs into a stone wall at the 22. Falcons going on offense for the 2nd time in this game. So right now the Bears and the Saints have clinched byes in the first week. Chicago home field throughout. The Eagles have the 3rd seed and Seattle number 4. The Cowboys are number 5, and the Giants, by the virtue of the St. Louis Rams winning today, would be the 6th and final team, and they won a big one last night against the Redskins to finish 8-8.
Well, they sure did, and congratulations to them, especially Tiki Barber. What a great game he had. Wow.
3 touchdowns, well over 200 yards. From the 23, Warwick Dunn on the handoff, and Mike Patterson right there to make the stop. Dunn picking up 4.
You know, a little bit of a gift, though, given to the Philadelphia Eagles here as far as Dallas losing the ball game. I don't think at any point during the week did the Eagles feel that Dallas would lose to Detroit at home, so they prepared as if they would have to win this ball game. But now to be given the opportunity to rest players is going to be nice for them.
And that may happen sooner than later as the pass underneath to Roddy White. Good for 3 yards, and you saw Andy Reid talking to some of the players, explaining what happened, what the strategy is. Well, if all the fans didn't know the result of the Cowboy game, they do now, as the Lions victory has posted the final score. And welcome to Philadelphia. This crowd on its feet. They have just been informed officially that the Lions beat the Cowboys, thus making the Eagles the NFC East champions. So the Eagles do not need a win in this game. Michael Vick throwing deep and nearly intercepted. A flag goes down. Roddy White defended downfield by Sean Considine and Roderick Hood.
Well, here you're going to get a chance to look at Roddy White.
Defense, number 29. Automatic, first down.
You know, they call Roderick Hood on the pass interference. They got him with his left arm right there. Initially, it looked like their feet just got tangled up. Hood certainly was looking back to make a play on the ball, but I think the official saw that hand, and that's what drew the flag.
35-yard penalty on Hood and a first down. Falcons on the Eagles 35. Michael Vick, the quarterback, and Warwick Dunn. And picks up about 4 yards as we check in with Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Dick, before they put the end of the Dallas game up on the scoreboard, Andy Reid went to certain players, tapped them on the shoulder, said, "You're out, you're out, you're out, you're out." A.J. Feeley's warming up, and he's going in for the Eagles, as we'll see in just a little bit. This is a time for some of these backups to get a little game time, but Andy Reid knew that it's better to get some of these guys out.
No question about it. You don't want to get any player injured when you know you'll have to be playing in a wild card game next week. Play action, and Michael Vick has plenty of time and completes to Michael Jenkins and a first down to the 15. Eagles winning their 5th division title in the last 6 years.
You know, you look at the protection that Michael Vick is going to get on this play, and a lot of people feel that the reason Michael Vick has not been more consistent as a passer this year has had more to do with the lack of protection by the offensive line. You see there, he got the protection. He's able to get the ball delivered to Jenkins.
16-yard gain, and the Falcons threaten. Here is Dunn going outside, and Dunn is about a yard or so shy of the first down. Dhani Jones makes the stop, as Dunn, who has not been used that much in recent weeks when the Falcons have struggled. They're looking at a 2-6 finish in the second half of this year, and Dunn kind of has been a forgotten weapon.
You know, you can see there by the graphic what has happened over the last 10 ball games. His yard per carry average down dramatically. Of course, Jarius Norwood, the rookie, he's been playing more here as of late. He's been very productive when he's been given his opportunities.
Second down and 1. Vick. A lot of time. Lost it into the end zone to a wide open Warrick Dunn for the touchdown. A 7-yard play. An interminable time that Dunn was standing there wide open, and Jim Mora, who knows there is pressure on him as the Falcons season comes to an end, elated that the Falcons have taken the lead.
They run this off of play action, and Michael Vick was able to buy some time because of the protection. There's just nowhere to go with the football, as you can see. Everybody's covered up. Warrick Dunn leaked out late. That's why he was so open. Michael Vick found him.
Morton Anderson adds the extra point, and the Falcons lead 7-3. So Dunn receiving the pass from Vick, who now has 20 touchdown passes this year, and that is a career high for him.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 41.
Donovan McNabb watching festivities from up on top, and he has been rehabbing his torn ACL, and we saw him in practice the other day and says it's coming along well.
Yeah, I was surprised that he's actually moving as well as what he is, and he, you know, as you can tell, he's in good spirits. He hadn't lost his sense of humor. I know this has been hard for him. You know, for any quarterback, any player, when you get hurt, you're not a part of a team when they're out having success. But, you know, one of the really good guys in the National Football League, and has been a great leader for this organization.
Michael Kanan kicking off following the Falcons touchdown. Reno Mahe trying to get some running room, gets down at the 21-yard line. So Michael Vick with his 20th touchdown pass of the season, and Vick, he'll take the lead anytime. 7-3.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. By Visa, go on, live life, and remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. By Microsoft, software for the people-ready business. And by State Farm, great service, great rates. Nobody takes care of you like State Farm.
Back here in Philadelphia, the Falcons lead the Eagles 7-3. And A.J. Feely has gone in at quarterback, has appeared in one game, and that was against the Colts, where he completed 4 out of 5. This is his second stint with the Eagles. They start on the 21-yard line. Terrell Buckholter in at running back. Buckholter doing superbly as a backup running back. No gain on the play. And the Eagles, who did not win in a division game last year, 5-1, and that was the key to them winning the division. Doing it all against the teams.
Well, they played well within the division. They've been playing well within the division for a number of years, with the exception of last year, of course, after the injury to Donovan McNabb. But, you know, for a team that came out and played exceptionally well and was rolling, and then went through that stretch where they were not playing very good football, the way that they've been able to turn around this season is really remarkable.
Feely gets hit as he tries to get it out to Buckholter. Interesting that the one loss that the Eagles had in the division.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 51. Illegal helmet contact. 15-yard penalty.
Demario Williams.
Automatic first down.
Yeah, Demario Williams a couple times now been able to get pressure, you know, on the quarterback. No question there. You're going to see him lower the helmet right there underneath the chin. That's one way to get ready to play this ball game. A.J. Feely, who has not played much, played a little bit several weeks ago, and then to get in here and drop back to pass, and then take a helmet right underneath the chin strap.
Saw the Eagles division record. Their one loss was to the New York Giants here in an overtime game, and that's who the Eagles will play in the wild card game next week. Terrell Buckhalter off the right side, and a flag is down as Buckhalter crosses the 40-yard line.
Illegal formation. Offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So a 5-yard penalty. And Buckhalter limping off the field. Talking about Buckhalter, who is practically out 2 years with a couple of operations on his right knee. They don't want to take any chances, obviously, with Brian Westbrook. So Buckhalter, one of the key backups, and so he gets hurt.
Well, and Terrell Buckhalter is a key component to this offensive team. I know Brian Westbrook is the guy, but they've been able to utilize Buckhalter, especially here lately, and he has run exceptionally hard.
Ryan Moats has gone into play running back for Buckhalter. There's Moats, first down and 15, and the slant attempt is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Rod Coleman. So Jeff Garcia has a very brief appearance in the 16th game, and not taking any chances with him, obviously, going into next week's wild card game.
Well, I'll tell you, what a great situation the Philadelphia Eagles had coming into this season with Donovan McNabb as your starter, Jeff Garcia, a guy who won a lot of games in this league, as your backup, and then A.J. Feely and the success he had here in Philadelphia a few years back.
Moats is brought down by Paul Carrington after a 2-yard pickup. And of course, there are a lot of teams, Troy, that don't have even a decent second quarterback on their roster. So that's paid off, that depth there for Philadelphia.
That was a nice move. Of course, they traded him, there to the Miami Dolphins, got a second-round pick when they traded him, and then ultimately A.J. Feely, things didn't work out for him that well there in Miami, and ultimately got traded to San Diego. But when he became available, I thought it was really a great pickup by this organization. I thought it was a great pickup when they picked up Jeff Garcia, considering the health here as of late of Donovan McNabb.
On 3rd and 13, pass caught by Hank Baskett, and a first down, and remains in bounds and stays on his feet to get inside the 40. A 28-yard completion to Baskett.
Yeah, Hank Baskett, a rookie who the Eagles really like. He's a big physical wide receiver. Got good speed, and they especially like his hands. Running a good route, and then of course Feely putting it on him. And you got John Abraham, who was limited last week. You see the big club there on his left hand. He had surgery on his thumb. They inserted pins. This is his second week to play with that cast.
Here's Ryan Moats trying to get outside, and he does. And a flag down as Moats picks up the first down and gets inside the 30-yard line. Paul Carrington, the rookie defensive end, initially
illegal
missed
use
Moats.
of hands to the face. Defense, number 71. 5-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Darryl Shropshire, illegal hands to the face.
Well, there's a shot of Terrell Buckhalter working on him and seeing exactly what the nature is of his injury. You see him pointing to the knee. And I can tell you, if he is unable to play once they go into the playoffs, that's going to be a big loss for this football team.
And they're also shifting that offensive line as well.
Well, they got Harriman's here, the left tackle. He's normally the left guard.
Jamal Jackson remains at left guard. Stepping up is Feely, and the pass caught by Baskett. And Baskett, the undrafted rookie from New Mexico, picks up 11 yards and a first down inside the 10. So Harriman's is at left tackle, Jackson at left guard, Nick Holes the center, and Scott Young and Sean Andrews on the right side.
Well, this is a pretty good picture here of the hands that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Nice job of being able to adjust his body. And he, along with some of these other wide receivers, they're still young guys. They're only going to get better, and they have throughout this season.
First and goal at the 9, and Ryan Moats tackled by Keith Brooking after picking up a yard. And you talk about the variety of receivers. Jeff Garcia telling us the other day, when I was in San Francisco, they devised game plans for only one man. He was talking about Terrell Owens. Here, they all are unselfish, and he trusts all of the receivers.
Well, and I can't even begin to tell you what that means for a quarterback when You know, they're always, usually at least, there's a guy on every team that is the star player, the star wide receiver, not just in San Francisco when Terrell Owens was there. There's always a little bit of pressure on a quarterback to get the ball in his hands. It's nice when you don't have that. You can just read through your progression.
The pitch is to Ryan Moats. And Moats is cut down by Jimmy Williams, who has been injured this year, making his 5th start today in cornerback. Loss of 1 yard for Ryan Moats. It'll be 3rd and goal. And it looks like Moats is a little gimpy right now going back to the huddle.
Well, that's what you worry about when you get into a game like this. As we see, try to see at least exactly what it was that happened. But, you know, all of a sudden you get into a game and these players realize that it's a meaningless game. Not that they're not going to play hard, but now you worry about key players going down.
Buckhalter already shaken up. And they're not going to get it off. A delay of the game penalty against the Eagles. And that will bring up a 3rd and 14. Well, let's see if they called a timeout before the play clock ran down. It looked like the clock went to 0.
Well, based on the fact that A.J. Feely is over on the sidelines now communicating with the staff, he must have gotten the timeout called. And a lot of that is just the mechanics for A.J. Feely. I mean, again, for a guy who hasn't played a lot of football, you know, here this season, not even knowing that he was going to be playing today until the last minute. It's just a matter of getting out there and being able to go through the mechanics.
Timeout on Philadelphia. 3rd down.
So they did not get the timeout called, and it'll be 3rd and 14. 3rd and goal from the 14. There's Buckhalter, who has come on big, scored a touchdown last week in the Christmas night win at Dallas. There's that score above the Lions beating the Cowboys 39-31. 3rd and goal, tip and caught for the touchdown by Matt Schobel. 14-yard touchdown pass, A.J. Feely to Matt Schobel, who caught one last week against the Cowboys.
Well, the one he caught last week was his first touchdown reception of the season, and now he comes right back this week, catches another one. You know, this ball got tipped. Great concentration by Matt Schobel after the ball was deflected to be able to pull that one in. Good job keeping his feet in bounds as well.
Keith Brooking got a hand on that pass. And David Akers on board as the Eagles regain the lead. Akers gives the Eagles a 10-7 lead. Matt Schobel, who hadn't caught a touchdown pass in actually 28 games before last week against Dallas, now has 2 in 2 games. TD pass for Feely. Nine plays, 79 yards for the Eagles. Feely 3 for 4 for 53 yards. And his first touchdown pass since 2004, when he had 11 TD tosses for Miami. Terrell Buckhalter walking off the field into the locker room. And that's not a good sign for the Eagles as David Akers kicks off. Allen Rawson returning from the 6. Always dangerous is Rawson, but he is buried at the 27-yard line. So we'll take a timeout here in Philadelphia. This crowd celebrating the Eagles division championship. Lead 10-7, and Jeremiah Trotter, the run stopper, non-parallel, out of the game right now, and only 3 Eagles starters on defense in there. 2 linebackers, Omar Gaither and Dhani Jones. And there is Vick on the bootleg. And the other starter just made a superb play in the open field. Strong safety Sean Considine, who limits Vick to only 3 yards.
You know, Sean Considine is a guy who filled in for Michael Lewis when they benched him following the New Orleans Saints game in October. And, you know, this is the way that he's been playing. I mean, you talk about tough duty trying to tackle Michael Vick out in the open field. And yet that's exactly what he was able to do. He has definitely upgraded this football team since he became the starter.
Second down and 7 from the 30. And here's Jarius Norwood. And Norwood, a good-looking running back, rookie from Mississippi State, gets about 7 yards as we check in again with Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Dick, there was a great deal of concern about Correll Buckhalter coming from his teammate and coaches. His trainers worked on him before he headed into the locker room. Buckhalter has missed 3 out of the last 4 seasons with injuries. Now he's got a knee strain. It is not, however, on the same knee where he has had surgery the last couple of seasons. Back to you.
And that's one of those, you roll the dice sometime, you put the backup in, and you need him as well, and he gets hurt.
Well, and anytime you got a head coach who's checking on a player coming off the field about his health, you know that that's a significant player.
Norwood, and Norwood very close to first down marker as Torrance Daniels, an undrafted rookie at strong side linebacker, and Sam Rayburn, a backup, trying to prevent the Falcons from getting the first down.
You know, it's amazing, Dick, that the Falcons are such a good running football team, and yet they've not had much success all season long in short yardage situations, whether that be just short yardage situations for first downs or down around the goal line. Here they were faced with 3rd and 1, and it takes a measurement to see whether or not they were able to convert. That has been one of the Achilles heels for this offensive team.
And they are short by inches.
You know, I tell you what, when the Philadelphia Eagles went with so many backups, there was already some pressure on this team to come out and perform, regardless of the fact of them not being in the playoffs. You know, of course, Jim Moore all week they're talking about what his future is going to be. The pressure got a little bit more intense when now he's going to be playing against basically a bunch of backups.
1:14 remaining in the first quarter. Reno Mahe is back deep, and Michael Kanan will kick. So the Falcons not willing to go for it on 4th and inches on their own 37. And that wouldn't have been a good coaching decision under any circumstances. Kanan and Mahe with a fair catch at the 31. The Eagles lead the Falcons 10-7 as we near the close of the first quarter. A.J. Feely traded by the Dolphins to the Chargers along with a draft choice for Cleo Lemon, starting for Miami in their finale against Indianapolis, then traded by the Eagles to Miami for a 2nd-round draft choice. The Eagles used it to select Reggie Brown, so that worked out for Philadelphia.
Yeah, it did, and I think that A.J. Feely, even though he came in here as the 3rd quarterback, I mean, this is an organization that he's comfortable with. They're comfortable with him. They know what he does well, and they couldn't wait to get him back here after he became available.
First down from the 31 for Feely. Here comes pressure, lost it in the air, and there's Matt Schobel with the catch, and a flag is down. Penalty marker down at the 45. Matt Schobel, who caught the touchdown pass earlier from Feely, a 19-yard play pending the call.
Pass interference, offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So with under a minute to go, they call Schobel for the push-off.
Yeah, watch him as he comes off the ball and see if, you know, he gets the right arm extended. That's what they saw there on Boley. I don't think that he benefited from that, but anytime an official sees an arm extended, whether it's from a tight end or a wide receiver, they're going to call pass interference on the offense. You know, Matt Schobel getting his opportunity to play again because they're resting L.J. Smith, a guy who didn't get a lot of balls there when he was playing with the Cincinnati Bengals prior to coming here to Philadelphia, has gotten fewer here.
Brian Moats gets tripped up at the 20-yard line by DeMario Williams. Well, tomorrow, the Tostitos Bowl Bash begins. It all starts with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic as Nebraska takes on Auburn. Then it's the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl as Boise State looks to complete an undefeated season when they battle Oklahoma. The Tostitos Bowl Bash begins tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific in high definition, only on Fox.
You know, I really think there should be more bowl games. Don't you?
Yeah. And final seconds being ticked off. You know, once upon a time they had only 5, believe it or not. That's the end of the first quarter with the Eagles in front 10-7. And we start the second quarter as we look at Andy Reid, comfortable with the division title and the lead in this game. Dick Stockton with Troy Aikman and Pam Oliver, and a false start penalty.
Offense.
And that's not
number 89.
really that unusual considering all the backups that are in the game now, Troy.
Well, yeah, and more than anything, it's the quarterback, A.J. Feely, because, you know, just like the offensive line, and I know that there's a lot of different faces now along this offensive line, but they had to get used to the cadence when Jeff Garcia came in for Donovan. Now all of a sudden, you know, this group's having to get adjusted to, and there's another one.
False start, offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's Todd Harrimans, who moved over to left tackle from left guard when the changes were made.
You know, and Todd Harrimans, he just signed a new contract extension a couple of days ago, and that's one of the things that Andy Reid and Joe Banner and the organization here in Philadelphia has done a great job of over the years, is signing their players early and doing a great job managing the cap.
Second and very long from the 5. Feely gets it off, and it's caught by Thomas Tapei, the fullback, and he is down at the 19-yard line. By the way, Ryan Moats, who limped off, you saw a little while ago, replaced by Reno Mahe. So actually the 4th running back for the Eagles in there, and now you see Tapei go out of the game. Nothing wrong with him. Mahe coming into this one. Well, I don't know about that as they look at his left hand. Mahe with only 1 carry this year. So a slew of injuries to the running backs and all backups, including the fullback Thomas Tapei. Well, Moats is all right. He's back in there now on 3rd down and 22. Feely going deep and trying to get it to Greg Lewis, incomplete. So it'll be 4th down, and the Eagles will punt.
Well, and A.J. Feely, he definitely had a shot there to Greg Lewis. The Atlanta Falcons decided to bring some pressure. Left Lewis one-on-one on the outside. They just failed to connect. And Greg Lewis, I know, is a guy who a couple of years ago this organization was very high on. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't developed more than what he has here over the last couple of years.
Dirk Johnson gets off a poor kick, and the Falcons will let it roll, and it will finally stop at the 43 of Atlanta. Break early here in the second quarter, 10-7 the Eagles.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite, always a good call. By WebMD, better information, better health. By the terrifying new thriller, The Hitcher, from the producers of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In theaters everywhere January 19th. And by Chevrolet, an American Revolution.
Falcons will start from the 43-yard line as Garcia and Feely converse over on the sideline. And it was just a couple of years ago when the Falcons came here, 1 game away from a Super Bowl possibility, lost to the Eagles 27-10. Since then, Jim Mora's Falcons have won 15 and lost 16. On 1st down, Michael Vick getting time and going deep, and nearly intercepted by Considine as the ball seemed to fly away from Roddy White.
You know, Michael Vick, he has an opportunity maybe to complete this ball, but in order to do that, he's got to keep it to the outside. Instead, he leads White towards the middle of the field, and that's where Sean Considine was there to possibly make the interception. Think back to last week's game against the Dallas Cowboys and the over-the-shoulder catch that Brian Dawkins made, an exceptional reception on the interception. Considine not able to pull off the same catch. 2nd and 10, and here's Jarius Norwood up the middle. So, you know, everybody knows there's no secret that Jim Mora and his coaching future right now is at stake, and Arthur Blank, the owner, has a decision to make, and reportedly will come sooner than later. Well, there's a lot of people that think Arthur Blank has already made his decision, and I think that if you look at the comments that he made this week saying that, or at least reiterating his stance that 8-8 and failing to make the playoffs is unacceptable. Obviously, they're not going to make the playoffs, and the best they can do is an 8-8 record. But most people think he has already made his decision on what the future is of Jim Mora.
3rd and 4, pass to Algie Crumpler. 1st down inside the 40 for a gain of 12. And of course, what the Falcons have been faced with lately, Troy, has been damage control, and a lot of that because of the comments made by first, Jim Mora Sr. when he suggested that Michael Vick would be a coach killer, or agreed with that view on a radio program before Week 12. And then, of course, maybe the most damaging of all was the comments by Jim Mora that he'd be interested in the University of Washington college coaching job. First down for the Falcons on the 39. And the pass, a risky one to Norwood, and he spins his way with a penalty flag down. Two of them actually back at the 40-yard line.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense, number 72, leg whip. 15-yard penalty, first down.
They call that on Wayne Gandy.
Yeah, Wayne Gandy, the left tackle, making his 200th regular season start today. You go down low, and then the leg whip there with the left leg is what was called. It's okay to go low, but then you can't leg whip a guy like what we just saw.
Wayne Gandy, who was an original Los Angeles Ram. Hard many can stake that claim. As a result of the penalty, it'll be 1st and 25. Falcons back in their own territory at the 46. Give to Norwood, but the Eagles pursue well, and out of bounds he goes. And right now, for a game break, let's again go to Joe Buck. Joe.
All right, Dick, you know a thing or two about a leg whip, or maybe it's an orange whip. On a gimpy ankle, it's Phillip Rivers to Antonio Gates, 33 yards. The touchdown, a 10-7 San Diego lead over Arizona, trying to fend off Baltimore. They lead 3-zip over Buffalo, trying to secure home field advantage. Dick, Troy, Pam, it's all yours.
All right, Joe, and we'll be welcoming you back for the playoffs, starting with the wild card beginning next week. Orange whip, you think he's referring to the Syracuse orange whip? Not sure.
With Joe, it's hard to tell.
Second down and long. Vick out of the shotgun, throws the short pass to Warwick Dunn, and Dunn gets to midfield, a gain of 3. So Michael Vick has had, for him, a record-breaking year, first for him, and yet you look at the one-loss record and the inconsistencies, and they loom large for Michael Vick this year.
Well, there's no question that he's been terrific as far as running the football, setting the record. First quarterback to ever go over 1,000 yards. But if you look at this team and the games where they have struggled, they've paralleled the struggles that Michael Vick has had as a passer. And so I really believe that in order for this team to continue to get better and to play more consistently, Michael Vick's got to play more consistently as a passer.
Third down and 20. Vick gets hit in the face. Flag goes down, and now he is dragged down by a hand. Sean Considine gets there, and 2 penalty markers there, and Michael Vick took quite a hit right in the face by Considine.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 37, blow to the quarterback's head. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, here comes Considine at the bottom of the screen, and he goes high, and then he grabs the face mask. You know, there as he was going by Michael Vick, he was in a great position, actually, to make a tackle, in the chest, a clean tackle, and make the sack. But Michael Vick steps up, and when he did, Considine then grabbed the face mask. That was a pretty easy call.
Looked like they were trying to dismember number 7.
Well, I will tell you that Jim Johnson, as far as this defense getting better, one of the reasons, along with the play of the defensive line, as to why they have gotten better is Jim Johnson has called more blitzes here over the last 4 games during this winning streak as well, and he's continuing to do that with these younger players. First down at the 43. Here is the bootleg, and Michael Vick gets the first down again, and inside the 30-yard line, a 14-yard gain by Vick. You get a chance to see how difficult it is. Considine made the tackle previously, out in the open field. He's going to get another opportunity here. Michael Vick puts one move on him, and then Considine slips. And I will tell you that this field, it may not look all that bad to our viewers. It's one of the worst fields right now in the National Football League. It's basically dirt and sand with very little grass. First down at the 29-yard line, and Vick
Going deep, he has Jenkins there, and the ball is batted away. Great coverage by Joselio Hansen, number 22. Couldn't have played that any better.
This was another ball by Michael Vick that, just gets away from him a little bit because of where the position was to Jenkins. If the ball's to the outside and leads him, it's a chance for a touchdown anyway, but Hansen had inside technique and the ball was thrown to the inside. Now Hansen showed you right there why he's a defensive back and not a wide receiver, because he didn't catch that one for the interception.
How would you compare this field to the old Veterans Stadium? That's a tough one.
Well, nothing was worse than Vet Stadium, I can assure you. I've had a few concussions there at that stadium.
Really? Here's Norwood, and riding Norwood was Jerome McDougal.
I don't know if it had so much to do with the surface as much as it had to do with Clyde Simmons and Reggie White, though. Gang Green, as they called him back then.
Maybe a combination of the two.
That's the one thing, and I comment on it often, that this Eagles defense over the years, whether it's been Jim Johnson or Ray Rhodes or Bud Carson, Buddy Ryan, it's a defense that's always been based on getting pressure on the quarterback, and nobody did that better than Reggie White.
3rd down and 8. Falcons on the 27, 3 wide receivers. And there is the fade, and Roddy White has it knocked away by Hansen again, getting a lot of work. A lot of these backup players getting a chance to play, and they want to show Andy Reid that they can play. So Morton Anderson will come in to attempt a field goal.
Here Joselio Hansen again on coverage. And Joselio Hansen, he played this spring over in NFL Europe, and then he goes right from that league to training camp in the NFL. He has played a lot of football this season, and you got to believe his body is absolutely worn out.
Morton Anderson with a 45-yard field goal, and the kick is good. So Anderson last week became the all-time leader in made field goals. 2 weeks ago, the all-time leader in scorer. Here's Hansen defending White. He's been busy on that last series. 10-10. Tied at 10, and Jim Moore going around and talking to his players, and I don't think any coach wants to have a losing record. And 11-5 in his first year, as we said, getting to the NFC Championship game, losing to the Eagles. 8-8 last year. A win today by Atlanta under any circumstances would give them the 500 record. Michael Kanan kicking off to Reno Mahe, who is taken down by Jamin Elliott. Every point counts as Jim Morris celebrates the tying field goal. We'll be right back.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Chevrolet, an American revolution.
And a look at the skyline of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Dick Stockton, Troy Aikman, Pam Oliver down on the field. 10-10 the score. And they came out in their painted best for this day. And it's turned out to be a New Year's Eve party celebrating the Eagles division championship.
I tell you, and even after they found out that the Cowboys lost and that meant then that the Eagles clinched the NFC East, they haven't lost their enthusiasm, here at the Link.
As they call it. Todd Weiner, the right tackle for the Falcons. Doubtful as to his return. He's shaken up. Basket goes in motion. Feely on the slant completes to Greg Lewis, and the Eagles get a first down at the 29, a gain of 12. And of course, the wild card playoffs start next week. It's been a wild derby in the NFC, hasn't it, to fill out the 6 teams. And so the playoffs start with the NFC wild card games. And we know the Philadelphia Eagles will be in one of them. And Seattle will host a game, as will the Eagles. First down, Ryan Moats attempts to cut upfield, tackled at the 34-yard line, and the Eagles will be playing the Giants. You think Jim Johnson wants to do something about Tiki Barber next week?
Well, I think the Washington Redskins wanted to do something about him last night, and they couldn't do it. I mean, during a game to where Eli Manning was struggling as much as he was throwing the football, and then for Tiki Barber to still have the game that he had running the football, pretty impressive.
2nd and 5, and that's what the Eagles wanted to do the last time, was to short circuit Barber, pass on the outside to Matt Schobel, And another Philadelphia first down. Out of bounds goes Schobel at the 44. D'Angelo Hall missed the initial tackle, but 10 yards for the Eagles.
I tell you, if Matt Schobel's not careful, he's going to have a career day here tonight. He's already been the recipient of a few passes.
Well, he is the backup to L.J. Smith. And he's been bothered with a sprained toe, so Schobel getting more action in the last couple of games. First down at the 44, and there's Ryan Boats. And he gets tripped up by Ed Hartwell as he crosses the line, and a 3-yard gain. 7:20 to go in the half.
You know, this Eagles offense, you know, a lot has been made with the way that they have been able to run the football, you know, here during this winning streak. And the guy responsible for that is first-year offensive coordinator Marty Morningwig. And, you know, it's hard to pin Andy Reid down as to when exactly Marty took over the play calling, but we do know that he took over and has been calling all of the plays during this winning streak, and they've run the ball more than at any other point during Andy Reid's tenure.
Feely trying to get rid of it. And good pressure there. Keith Brooking as well as John Abraham.
John Abraham, who missed a number of games this year, and it was disappointing that he did because they were counting on some good things from him this season. And last week he literally had to play with
offense. Number 14.
Just threw the flag seconds ago after conferring with the umpire. Loss of 13.
Well, and that was the right call. I mean, you've got to get outside the pocket if you're going to be able to just throw this ball away. Obviously, nobody in the vicinity of the throw, which Jim Mora would like to call as well. But John Abraham last week literally was playing with one arm because he had just come off of the surgery. This week it's not nearly as tender, but still has the cast.
Reed O'Mahe with a burst up the middle. And Mahe getting just about to the original line of scrimmage. DeMario Williams on the tackle. You mentioned Abraham, who has 4 pins in that fractured thumb. And of course Abraham, who missed 8 games earlier this year with the sports hernia surgery, and Hartwell hurt, has really limited the Atlanta defense, along with the loss of Patrick Kearney.
You know, I think it has limited them, but overall this defense has still had a decent year, considering the number of injuries that they've had.
No question about it. 16th in total defense. 4th down. Dirk Johnson with his second punt of the game. Allen Rawson, and the Eagles are going to down it inside the 5, closer to the 1. So Allen Rawson, normally a sure-handed, good decision man back there, let it go, nearly hit him. Falcons and Eagles tied at 10 with just under 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Quinn Ojanaka replacing the injured Todd Weiner at right tackle, as the Falcons will start from the 2. Nearly slipping was Vick. Hands off to Warwick Dunn. Daniels is right there. There was so much hope, Troy, when Jim Mora and Rich McKay were in Atlanta a couple of years ago, and it was a new beginning for this team with Michael Vick, and he brought in some high-profile assistant coaches, going in his first year 11-5 within a game of the Super Bowl. They thought this was going to be the start of a huge run for the Falcons, and it has not happened that way. On 2nd down and 9, the pass caught by Algie Crumpler gets out of trouble, and a first down at the 29.
You know, Algie Crumpler, you know, obviously their leading receiver, you know, for this team. And in watching some film this week, getting ready for this ball game, it became pretty obvious to me when Michael Vick is throwing to Algie Crumpler. It's amazing just how he throws the ball with so much more confidence, the chemistry that these two players have. And that's one of the reasons why Algie Crumpler has been able to catch so many balls, is because Michael Vick knows exactly where he's going to be. He doesn't have that same kind of chemistry with any of the wide receivers.
First down, and on a design rollout. Vick will throw the ball away. Jerome McDougal chasing Vick all over the link. And a flag thrown at it 30. Another penalty. Most of them today have gone against the Eagles.
Pass interference, offense, number 83. That penalty is accepted. Ineligible man downfield, offense number 77. That penalty is declined. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Crumpler gets called for the offensive pass interference. He'll mark 10 off for the Falcons.
You know, you were talking about Jim Mora and, you know, the fresh start that they had when they went to the NFC Championship game, and we've talked about, you know, what exactly is going to happen to Jim Mora after this game. Is he going to be retained? But assuming that he's not back, I mean, and there are changes made, that would then mean that Michael Vick is going to be faced with his third head coach, and he'll be once again having to learn a new offense, and you wonder how much that maybe will set him back a little bit.
Warwick Dunn trying to look for running room outside and taken down by Quinton Michael. And no gain on the play with 4:34 to go. Michael, of course, one of the big heroes, maybe the biggest hero last week against Dallas when he made the big stop on 4th and goal against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it was a big play in last week's ball game, you know, making the stop, and he got his opportunity to play. And he's, again, you know, he's one of those young players that the Eagles have just done a good job of drafting, and they seem to have a good steady pipeline of young talent.
Second down and 20. Vick in the pocket. The pocket falters. Vick in trouble. And down he goes. Tries to get rid of the ball at the last minute as he was going down. So a flag is thrown at the goal line and very close to a safety. Let's see what Terry McCauley rules.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 7. Spot of the pass, loss of down, third down.
Lucky there was no safety.
Well, you're going to see, I mean, under enormous pressure there, Jaquay Thomas and comes after him, and he's fortunate that he just got out of the goal line there, and as you said, Dick, did not get the safety, but you know, he's outside the pocket. But what happened was the ball did not get across the line of scrimmage, and in order for it not to be intentional grounding, that's what has to happen, well outside the tackle box. But because the ball didn't cross the line of scrimmage, that's why they called intentional grounding.
And if he had grounded it in the end zone, it would have been a safety. So it'll be third down and 34. Warwick Dunn. And Dunn, no gain on the play, and the Eagles claiming they have Dunn trapped for a safety. No official signal and none coming. It'll be fourth down. Roderick Bunkley, the rookie from Florida State, Sam Rayburn coming on to make the play.
Yeah, he got across the goal line, but not by much. I mean, this defensive line, and again, they're substituting a lot of players, not the same guys that they've been playing with, you know, as their starters, obviously, but the results are still the same. This defensive group doing a good job against what is the #1 rushing offense in the National Football League.
Eagles call the timeout. And there is Bunkley, who they have great hopes for in the Eagles defensive line. That is the first timeout called by Philadelphia. 10-10 the score, and the Eagles looking to finish with a 10-6 record. They were last in the NFC East a year ago, and they win the division title this year. Fourth down. Michael Kanan will not have much room to get rid of this as the Eagles were trying to block it. Reno Mahe already at the Atlanta 30-yard line and spun out of bounds at the 28. Well, Monday, January 8th, it's the game college football fans have been waiting for as Chris Leak and the Florida Gators take on Heisman Trophy winner Troy Smith and the Ohio State Buckeyes in the first ever Tostitos BCS National Championship game. Our coverage will begin Monday, January 8th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and 4:30 p.m. Pacific in high definition only on Fox. That's going to be quite a game, Troy, and that's going to be the finish of a great week of BCS bowl games, all on Fox. Ryan Moats trying to go outside. Grady Jackson, veteran nose tackle.
Boy, I'll say, Grady Jackson, he may have to go take a breather after this play. You know, Grady Jackson, you're going to see him. He's a big body in there, and it seems that each year he continues to get bigger. But he's able to stretch this one out. And I tell you, you got your hands full there. Nick Cole, the one trying to block him. But Grady Jackson, you know, I joke about it, but he's a big body in there, and he's really helped this defensive run defense because of his size.
Feely, and getting turned around was Jason Avant. You would talk about Grady Jackson, and I know you joke about him, respect how well he played. Leads all NFL defensive tackles in tackles for a loss this year. So what he did on that previous play is what he has been doing all season.
Well, and on third downs, passing downs, this is where he goes to, over there to the sidelines, and takes a breather and gets ready for his next opportunity to go try to shut down the run. He says that at the start of every game, he asks the center, who's going to help you today? Because he knows that he's not going to get blocked one-on-one.
Feely, and a great catch made by Greg Lewis. Allen Rawson defending on the play, and Greg Lewis went up and got it. 27 yards, and the Eagles threatened.
It really was a great job here by Greg Lewis. See a little move there off the line, and then gets to the outside. Even though the ball was thrown to the inside, Allen Rawson actually had good position on the play. But Greg Lewis just able to go and get the ball. A nice job on his part. And I spoke a little bit earlier about his development and how much they thought of him a few years ago as a young player. He's still a young player, but he just hasn't been given a lot of opportunities. He's going to get those here tonight.
22 catches on the year. First down and goal. Ryan Moats tackled at the 5 for no gain, and our 2-minute warning as the Eagles setting themselves up to break the tie thanks to Lewis's grab. .159 on the clock. 2-minute warning. It'll be second down and goal. Greg Lewis setting the Eagles up with a terrific catch, and Philadelphia coming into this game with a 4-3 record at home, and we know about their 3 impressive division wins on the road, setting this game up. Here is Feely, wide open, but unable to hold on is Thomas Tapei. He could have walked in.
Boy, he sure could have. There was nobody out there in coverage, you know, to try to keep him from getting into the end zone if he makes the catch clean and is able to turn up. You know, he's generally got pretty good hands too. See Jeff Garcia react, and Andy Reid, there's not a lot of expression on his face.
Thomas Tapei with some fingers that have been taped up, but I don't know if Andy Reid is impressed with that problem he has. So it'll be third down and goal. And Feely's pass caught for the touchdown, and a flag is down. Hank Baskett, Jason Avant. Penalty flag thrown in the end zone, a 5-yard grab.
Holding defense, number 25. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
So A.J. Feely with his second touchdown pass, number 81 with the grab.
Yeah, Jason Avant getting his opportunity to play as well. They run a high-low there, and the interference call was on Matt Schobel by Chris Crocker. But Jason Avant running a good route underneath, and then Feely putting the ball on him.
First touchdown catch for Avant in his career. 4th-round draft pick out of the University of Michigan. David Akers' extra point is good. And a 17-10 lead, and that brings us to next week's wild card game right here on Fox. Sunday pregame show begins at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, the third meeting of the year between these NFC East rivals, the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants winning in week 2 here with an amazing comeback, 30-24 in overtime. And then just a couple of weeks ago, the Eagles winning at the Giants 36-22. And of course, you witnessed both of those games.
Well, yeah, and even the latest game that they played a couple of weeks ago, even that was a tighter game than what the score would suggest. And as you said, the Giants coming back and having that big win in overtime, here in Philadelphia, obviously it was a big win for them at that time. I think anytime you get into a game like this, a divisional matchup in a playoff game, it's both these teams know each other very, very well. And the Giants, of course, with their win, you just wonder how they're going to be able to come back, off of that win and what kind of frame of mind they're in, having lost 6 of their last 8 ball games. But there's no question that they're going to be playing a team here in Philadelphia that has really been rolling.
Well, we know that's going to be an intense game, and sometimes in the Giants case, they're hoping they finally got the win they needed, whether that can be a spark for them going into the playoffs. Akers kicking, and it's retrieved by Adam Jennings, the wide receiver and a rookie, and he is tackled at the 19-yard line. Well, coming up on the Visa halftime report, Joe and the boys will have scores and highlights. Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will join Joe Buck. Highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. It's all next on the Visa halftime report. Of course, in week 16, go over the playoff situation. Everything solidified right now in the NFC. Eagles have outgained the Falcons by 70 yards. First down at the 19 for Michael Vick. And this pass caught shy of the first down by Algie Crumpler. A 9-yard pickup.
I tell you, it was a great throw there by Michael Vick, and even better catch by Algie Crumpler. You see him extending his fingertips out there, just barely able to pull this in. But you got to have strong fingers to make that catch.
And Vick now completes the pass, first down to Dwayne Blakely, the third tight end on the team, and another 9-yard gain. And the clock stopping with 1:16 to go as the Falcons call their first timeout. So Michael Vick right now has completed 8 of 13 for 81 yards and has a touchdown pass to Warwick Dunn, and he has run twice. The other wild card game, the Dallas Cowboys will go against the Seattle Seahawks. Tony Romo, who has been a little shaky lately, 6-4, however, as a starter. And you can see how much the Cowboys have been outscored in the last 2 games. And that's not an easy going against a Seattle team defending NFC champions with the 12th man in Seattle and Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander.
Well, and both teams going into that game not playing very good football. The Cowboys, who some thought was the best team in the NFC about 4 weeks ago, have not played well at all the last month of the season. Of course, Seattle has struggled as well.
First down at the 37. Inside handoff, or Vick carries himself and gets nothing on the play.
Well, that's a part of this offense that I don't really quite understand. When you're talking about a 2-minute situation, no huddle, and you're running the fake draws and putting Michael Vick on the run, that was not going to be a pass.
Slant attempt to Roddy White is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Quentin Michael, who has really assumed the special teams leadership for this Eagle team since Ike Reese, now playing some defensive downs.
He's had a good game already here tonight, getting involved in a lot of the action in the backfield there with Michael Vick, and also in run defense, but just a good young player for this club.
Third down and 10. Under a minute to go in the half. And Vick is sacked by Jaquay Thomas. That is the first sack of the game for the Eagles. Vick loses 10, and they'll have to punt.
Well, Jaquay Thomas, he's going to come off the edge here, 75. You know, if Michael Vick were able to step up a little bit, he might have been able to avoid it, but there was pressure in the middle as well. But the biggest problem is there's just not much separation here. When you see Roddy White and Algie Crumpler running together in the same area of the field, something's wrong with the design of that pass route. You know, then here on the other side, you got Roddy White. You know, but you see that a lot as we go back and you see the two coming in the same vicinity of each other. And there's just not much separation within a passing game. And when you don't have that, it's very, very difficult then to create space and get people open.
So Jim Johnson's defense getting it done, and the Eagles call their second timeout, left with one. Here's Greg Knapp and Michael Vick. Knapp, the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. Fourth down, Michael Kanan, as the Eagles storm in, and the ball bounding out of bounds. Hank Baskett very nearly blocking that punt.
Yeah, it looked like he had a clean shot at it, actually. I was surprised that he couldn't get there and actually make the block.
A.J. Feely, 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. Matt Schobel and Jason Avant, Ryan Moats in there. Carell Buckhalter started the game after Westbrook went out, when it was known that the Eagles did not need to win this game, and then shaken up. So Moats was in now. Now Reno Mahe seeing action as well. Feely giving ground, and on the screen pass, the pass incomplete. Mahe defended by DeMario Williams, and a flag is down.
Holding defense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Darryl Shropshire, and that will give the Eagles a first down with 34 seconds to go.
Yeah, that's the second time they've called Shropshire. Say that name 3 times fast.
Twice.
It's the second time he's been called for defensive holding.
3.
Now you see Greg Knapp. You see Greg Knapp there going over the plays. You know, those images are shot down right after the series, and so you're able to go over them and find out exactly, you know, what a defense is doing and make the necessary adjustments.
Feely getting the rush, 3rd and 8, and off the hands of Greg Lewis. It'll be 2nd and 10, excuse me, first down after the penalty with 30 seconds remaining. A.J. Feely, 8 of 14, 2 touchdown passes.
You know, I think when Andy made the decision that he was going to rest some players because this game became meaningless, you know, you wonder if maybe that might take away from some of the momentum that this team had as they go into the playoffs. I personally do not think that it will. And you want to rest your guys. That's very, very important, but it'll certainly be talked about next week.
Pass thrown to Greg Lewis, short of the first down by 1.5 yards, thanks to Allen Rossum. A 9-yard pickup. And I guess if you had to talk about, do you want the momentum or risk having a starter injured, I don't think there's any question about it. I think the Eagles right now have to like the situation they're in, and I think it's important that they didn't really have to go and win this game today.
Well, I think when you look at the season and what all teams play for, they play for the opportunity to get that first round bye, you know, in the playoffs. And so when you're given an opportunity as a wild card team, when you have to go play in that wild card round to rest some players, which now the Eagles get to do here tonight, I think you take advantage of that. That will help, you know, these players, because it's a long year. When you're talking about week 16 in the National Football League, everybody out there on that field has some elements that they need rested.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles are riding the crest of that 4-game winning streak, and of course, as you mentioned, beating Carolina was a nice win on Monday night when they held on, but then 3 straight road division wins, and people really taking notice with Garcia in there. 3rd and 1, and the pass overthrown to Greg Lewis, covered by D'Angelo Hall. So with 18 seconds to go, it is now 4th down.
You know, Sean Andrews, he's the Pro Bowl right guard. He's playing right tackle now because of the adjustments they made within the offensive line. That's not easy to do. I mean, this guy, you know, it's well known. He dropped 50 pounds this past offseason, became much more athletic. But to be able to go from guard to tackle and play as well as what he has here in this first half is a great example of his versatility.
Dirk Johnson to kick it away. Allen Rossum. And the flag is down. Penalty marker is thrown at about the 30-yard line as the ball went out of bounds. 10 seconds on the clock.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
50-yard kick went out of bounds. And of course they're going to get another opportunity here.
Yeah, and these punt coverage teams, they never like that, nor does John Harbaugh, the special teams coach here for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, these guys run 50 yards downfield in order to cover a punt, and then when there's a penalty, you got to do it all over again.
Here's Joe DeCamillis, special teams coach, and of course that has been one of the solid foundations of the Falcons going back to when his father-in-law Dan Reeves coached this team. Johnson's kick. Rossum hemmed in and out of bounds at the 22. And the clock runs down. So the Philadelphia Eagles finding out at the very start of this game that the Dallas Cowboys were beaten by the Detroit Lions. Jeff Garcia getting the afternoon off, but he'll be ready for the playoff game, the wild card on Fox next week against the New York Giants. And the Eagles finishing the regular season at home against the Atlanta Falcons. Their season is over after this game, but the Eagles have some more work to do. So that will be the end of the first half here in Philadelphia, with A.J. Feely leading the way with the score. The Eagles 17, the Falcons 10. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report with Joe, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
The Visa halftime report is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Life takes Visa.
And welcome to the Visa halftime, everybody. Going on in Philadelphia. Once the Eagles knew they had clinched the NFC East with the Dallas loss, Andy Reid blew the whistle and got all the big kids out of the pool and said, "Daddy's gassing up the wagon. Don't let anybody get hurt." We go to the highlights for Week 17, and I hand off to my very good friend, Terry Bradshaw.
Oh, my wagon's empty. 17-10. Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons, as you said, that is a halftime score. Go ahead. You can do this better than I can.
There you go. So the Eagles, 5th time in the last 6 years, they win the East. Now Denver. Cutler's hurt.
He is. Anthony Davis knocks him out of this game, goes to the sideline, gets checked 3-0 Denver. And then Champ Bailey. Ball popped up in the air. Alex Smith is picked off by Champ Bailey. He takes it back 70 yards, Jimmy. Welcome back to the studio. You've been outside. That's his 10th interception, Bailey, that is.
Pittsburgh knocks out Cincinnati from the playoff hunt with a 6-point win at Cincinnati. Other finals, Kansas City, they are only in if Denver loses. They did win in their game. A final, Oakland loses at the Jets. The Jets clinch their playoff spot. Other finals, Houston beats Cleveland 14-6. Detroit loses, or actually wins at Dallas, and that means that Dallas now will not win the NFC East, an 8-point loss at home to Detroit. Carolina beats the backups of the Saints. The Saints are the solid number 2 seed in the NFC. Other finals, the Rams 8-8 first year for head coach Scott Linehan as they win at Minnesota. Seattle wins at Tampa Bay 9-7 as they break their losing streak. And on Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern, our coverage will begin. The Giants at Philadelphia. That will be our playoff game next Sunday right here on Fox. And we go back to the Eagles and talk about Philly, your gang. Even their backups are beating Atlanta today.
My Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, when you look at this game, you look at the Giants here here next week. 2 weeks ago, the Giants lost to Philadelphia 36-22. The Eagles control that ball game, and they should control it again. You know, the Eagles now, the expectations weren't that high when McNabb went down, but all of a sudden, Garcia. Yeah, my expectations. Garcia comes in. Hey, they're playing great. Should be a great game.
I want to say hi to all your fans in Philly.
All my Eagle fans.
Yo!
Yo.
Yo.
Give me yo. Yo.
James Brown, who passed away this week, Fantasy update on the start of the third quarter, and it's going to be recovered by Adam Jennings of the Falcons. Let's check in with Pam Oliver.
Hey, Dick, it may be a quote-unquote a meaningless game, but Andy Reid isn't coaching that way. He wants to see even more points put up on the scoreboard at the half, especially if Michael Vick stays in the game. Meantime, Jim Mora said the message that he had for his team at halftime was, let's keep fighting for each other, let's have fun with each other, and let's do the best we can for the next 30 minutes. Back to you.
All right, and Andy Reid upset, almost had the challenge flag ready to throw it on onside kick attempt. By the way, you saw the fantasy leaders for the latest in fantasy stats. Log on to foxsports.com. First down for the Falcons on their 48-yard line. Michael Vick, the quarterback, trying to get away, and he can't, from Jaquay Thomas, his second sack of the game, and they're going to blow the play dead right there, even though the Eagles had picked it up and started to go with it. A loss of 10.
Well, this was going to be Trent Cole playing that side, but again, Jaquay Thomas out there now doing a good job not allowing Michael Vick to get to the outside and makes the tackle. The question is, was he down before the ball came out? The right knee, it appeared, was on the ground prior to the ball coming out of Michael Vick's hand.
And Michael Vick is shaken up near the far sideline on the result of this play.
You can see Jaquay Thomas falling on the back of that right knee as they were going to the ground.
So we're going to have a timeout just 9 seconds into this third quarter, and the quarterback is hurt.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 41. By Lowe's, for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, let's build something together. By the KFC Buffalo Snacker, your dollar goes further at KFC. And by Ford F-Series, built for bold moves, built Ford tough.
Michael Vick was hurt his ankle, taken off the field, and now Matt Schaub has come in to play quarterback for the Falcons. Has not played much this year. Second down and 21 for Schaub, and the receiver fell down. That was Dwayne Blakely, and it'll be 3rd and 21. Here's how it happened.
Yeah, again, Jaquay Thomas, as he's making the tackle, just slides down and he lands right there on the bottom of Michael Vick's ankle and on the back of his knee, and I'm not sure if it's the knee or the ankle that is the problem, but obviously his leg got caught under there in a very awkward position.
So Matt Schaub is in. He has completed 3 of 6 for 33 yards. Minimal action, to say the least, this year. And a subject to discuss here for the Falcons, because he's done very well as a backup quarterback. This pass off the hands of Michael Jenkins. Incomplete, bringing up 4th down.
I'll tell you, Dick, you watch Algie Crumpler come off the ball here, and it doesn't even look like he's running or interested in catching a ball. I'm not sure if he just wasn't a part of that route or not, but it's rare that a guy just jogs down the field and doesn't try to at least influence some defenders.
Michael Kanan with the punt. Reno Mahe watches it go out of bounds. Still in the first minute of this third quarter, Michael Vick injuring his ankle. Eagles in front by a score of 17-10.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Michael Vick walking off on his own power, and a good idea not to risk any more injury at this point in this game with the Falcons eliminated last night. A.J. Feely on first down completes the pass to Jason Avant. Avant with his first NFL touchdown catch gets it up to midfield as we check in with Pam.
Yeah, Dick, to give you a further update on Michael Vick's injury, the trainers worked on that right ankle for a while. They removed a brace-like device that was already on that ankle. They're calling it a sprain. He is going in for x-rays as a precaution.
All right, thank you, Pam. And of course, Michael Vick, a real serious injury, missed 11 games in the 2003 season when Dallas Thomas of the Ravens suffered a broken right fibula. 1st and 10. Feely swings it out to Reno Mahe. Fumbles. And a scramble. Ed Hartwell forcing the fumble on the play.
Well, it's now a scrum to try to determine who's got the football. Looks like Mahe might have been able to get back on the ball after he fumbled. But when you're at the bottom of the pile, I mean, anything can happen. It's just whoever emerges with the ball in their hand.
Falcons are going to get it.
Yeah, D'Angelo Hall's the guy who came out of the pile with it. You know, as you're going to see Mahe, looked like he might have gotten a hand. Yeah, sure did, right there on the ball.
Hartwell got a hand on it, and D'Angelo Hall, and with this turf that you talked about, you can actually dig down deep to get that ball.
Well, when you got a ball like this and everybody then is jumping on the pile trying to come up with it, you got Mahe with one arm. You know that he's not going to be able to maintain control of it. There's D'Angelo Hall. And then when he comes out with it, obviously you can't give it to anybody but the Atlanta Falcons. You even got Jim Mora down in there trying to figure it out as well.
He might have recovered it. That's the first turnover of the game and a first down at the 48. Matt Schaub with plenty of time, and this pass caught by Roddy White. Great grab on a low pass, and Roddy White goes the other way and runs out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Roderick Hood chased him, a 28-yard gain on a well-executed play by the Falcons offense.
You know, Roddy White, who they've expected a lot of big things from, he's playing today because Ashley Lally is injured. You know, he's able to go down here and make the catch, and nobody then touches him. And he wisely gets up and gets some more yardage out of the play.
Falcons have a first down on the Eagles' 25. Roddy White going in motion. Warwick Dunn getting the call. And not much there. Picks up a couple of yards on the play. But it's interesting, you talk about Matt Schaub and how well he has done, and has won some big games as a backup quarterback when Vic has been hurt in recent years.
Well, and he's a guy that everybody in this organization really likes, from Rich McKay on down throughout the coaching staff. And you know, they believe that he's going to have a really bright future, you know, in this league. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for the Atlanta Falcons. He becomes a restricted free agent this offseason, and they're going to be pretty much forced to trade him unless they name him as the starter, which won't happen.
And Warwick Dunn with another minimal gain. Matt McCoy making the tackle, and you know, it's a tough dilemma that they have, because Matt Schaub really has gotten the desires of a lot of other teams around the league.
Well, he has, and a lot of people have shown an interest in trying to trade for him. They were offered some various proposals this previous offseason for him. The Falcons know he's a very valuable commodity, but if they don't trade him this year, he's obviously not going to sign an extended contract knowing that he can go somewhere and be the starter. And if he plays out next year, then the Falcons wouldn't get any compensation when he left.
Highly regarded backup in demand. Here's Schaub, and the pass should have been intercepted by Sean Considine. It was right in his hands. So right now, not a great audition for Matt Schaub. Try to get the ball to Roddy White.
Well, and Matt Schaub knew that he made a mistake on that one, because you got to know where the safeties are, and he did not have an idea as to where Considine was. He knew he had an opportunity on the outside as far as the position of the corner and the receiver with the inside technique, Roddy White, but Considine was the guy who, again, could have had another interception.
So Morton Anderson, who connected from 45 yards out in the first half, this will be from 40, and the kick is blocked. No, it's a fake. Schaub will pass, and it's caught by Eric Beverly. Eric Beverly makes the grab.
Well, it was hard to tell whether or not it was the snap or the hold. Initially, it looked to me like the snap was fine. It's like Schaub's just unable to get the ball down cleanly, and then he picks up. Definitely not a fake. Anderson was expecting that he would be making the kick.
And they give up the ball on downs. Here's Boone Stutz. Normally doesn't get a lot of publicity, and on the right. And Matt Schaub, and kind of a Katzenjammer Kids field goal attempt. The Eagles take over as the Falcons did not get the first down. The pass to Hank Baskett reaches over for the first down. A lot of just to keep his balance out there. First down, Feely, and wide open Thomas Tapé. Tapé, the fullback, gets hit as he goes out of bounds, but another first down near midfield, picking up 15 yards. Well, the playoffs start next week. NFC playoffs on Fox, beginning with the wild card game. This is the way they finished for the playoff seeds. The Bears and the Saints will get byes. Chicago home field throughout. New Orleans home field in the divisional playoff.
Well, I mean, you look at that and what Philadelphia is going to have to do. Of course, they get the home game, but to have to win 3 games, you know, to get into the Super Bowl, I mean, that's a monumental task, especially how many they've had to win to get to this point. But you look at that list of teams that are in it, and I mean, they're playing better than any of them that are on there.
Feely's pass, and it's dropped by Basket. And the Dallas Cowboys aren't going in with a bang for sure, losing to the Eagles at home, the Lions today at home, and now having to go to Seattle against Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander. They won today against Tampa Bay, so at least their head is right going into the first game of the playoffs, the defending conference champs.
I mean, you look at Dallas and the opportunities that they had over the last month of the season to really control their own fate. They played New Orleans, and if they had won that game, they could have gotten a first-round bye. They played the Eagles last Monday night, failed to win that game to potentially win the division.
Feely's pass over the middle, bounding away Jason Avant, and Avant getting inside the 40 for a first down. Remember the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, we have a flag down, by the way, were 7-5 and ended up as the number 6 seed and went on to win the Super Bowl. So the way the NFL is these days, you got to count all the seeds as having opportunities, Troy.
Well, and I think that as far as this Philadelphia team and what we're going to see here on the penalty.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It looked like it was on Boley right there at the end on the tackle on Avant is who was called. You know, he didn't grab the face mask. If you grab the helmet, though, and turn the head, they're going to call it. Even though the head didn't turn. Questionable call there. But I think if you look at Philadelphia and what they've been able to do, obviously Jeff Garcia has played exceptionally well. But I think in terms of what's going to happen to them when they get into the playoffs, if this defense for the Eagles can continue to play as well as they have and then even get better and play at the level that we're used to seeing them play in previous years, I don't think there's any question this Eagles team's got a real shot at it.
You know, Troy, talking to Andy Reid the other day, he said when your defense plays well, you can do whatever you want on offense. That has been his mantra here with the way the team has played. First down at the 38 of Atlanta. Feely again up the middle, and Jason Avant makes the catch. In case you're wondering, they picked up the flag on that last play. There's Marty Morenweg, who of course has played a key role in the Eagles offensive surge with the running game.
Well, there's no doubt about that, and he's continuing with it here today. I like the fact that A.J. Feely is out here now playing, and they really haven't changed what they're trying to do. It would have been real easy just to come out here and not give him an opportunity to try to make some plays within the passing game. But, you know, as Andy Reid told Pam Oliver coming out of half, they want to see execution.
Basket. And it takes a little bit to wrestle him down, and they do. Jimmy Williams wrestles him down after a gain of 11. And Andy Reid saying, and a lot of great respect for Marty Morenweg, he says he's been with me in every step of the way. He was a graduate assistant at UTEP, coached with him at Missouri, and of course at the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and I think it's because of those relationships and those stops with each other that is the reason why Andy Reid has allowed him to call plays. I mean, think about it. Brad Childress was here for a number of years, and a guy who Andy Reid had great respect for, yet he never turned the play calling responsibilities over to Brad Childress, and yet he's done that with Marty Morenweg in his first season as offensive coordinator.
First down from the 24 to pay down at the 20, and we check in with Joe Buck for a game break.
How about this, Dick? Stockton, Denver needs to win to get into the playoffs. The only spot up for grabs. Jay Cutler got his bell rung in the first half, came back, 6.5 left in the third quarter. Walt Harris, his 7th interception of the season, 28 yards for the touchdown, 17-13 San Francisco. Back to Dick, Troy, and Pam.
You know, it's amazing. Every time you go into one of these games and you say, well, if this team's a playoff team, then this is a game they should win. It seems to never work out that way, at least this season, and it's not working out that way right now in Denver.
2nd and 7, the pass intended for Schobel, and pass interference called Chris Crocker. Making contact beyond the 5-yard limit.
Pass interference, defense, number 25. Automatic, first down.
Well, we'll get a look at it here and see what happens. Crocker's got his left hand, you know, on Schobel's shoulder pad there. You know, obviously that was beyond the 5 yards, so I don't know that you can necessarily question the call. You know, you think back to last night's game. I don't know how many people got a chance to watch that Giants-Redskins game, but I'll tell you, those officials really let them play last week. It was a very physical ball game and a lot of contact down the field. They're calling it pretty close here today.
False start.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Sean Andrews, who has been the right guard, playing right tackle in this revamped offensive line. You talked about the Denver story as we saw Joe Buck's game break. If Denver wins, they'll be the 5th seed, the Jets number 6. But if Denver, the Broncos, lose, the Jets become the number 5 seed in the AFC, and Kansas City gets in as the number 6. First and goal for the Eagles on the 11. Pressure on Feely, and the Falcons sending 2 rushers in on Feely. Had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Yeah, good job by A.J. Feely just getting that one out. You know, a lot of times when you call a screen pass, which is what that was, is you see the offensive lineman running out there to the right side. You know, I know when I played, you'd call a screen pass in the offensive line. They just thought that meant just let them go completely. I mean, you're supposed to at least slow them down for a couple of seconds.
Send the message down to those guys, Jonathan Babineau and Jimmy Williams. So there's Feely, but had to hurry a little bit, not been sacked. This is the 9th play of the drive. 2nd and goal. Catch made by Reno Mahe, and he is stopped at the 10, so he gets a yard out of it. Marty Morenweg, who was the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
And I'll tell you what, it was obviously a tough experience for him, you know, those couple of years there in Detroit as the head coach. But he is extremely well respected as an offensive coach, not only here in Philadelphia, but also when he was in San Francisco, you know, as the offensive coordinator there. He's a good football coach. And you know, I know a lot of people take your shots when it doesn't work out for you as a head coach, but he's very well respected within the profession.
And giving deserved credit here. Pass caught by Greg Lewis, but a good tackle there by Allen Rossum, limiting Lewis to a gain of 5. So it'll be 4th down and goal, and the ball at the 5 as Akers comes on.
You know, pretty good play there by Allen Rossum, and a guy who's been primarily a special teams player coming into this season, has had an opportunity to play a little bit more corner because of the injuries to Kevin Mathis and Jason Webster. And he's played pretty well.
Akers made one from 41. This will be a 23-yard attempt. And it hits the goalpost and falls into the end zone. No good. So Akers, a rare miss. Let's see the snap, and we'll roll that play. More the hold than the snap, it appears. The ball hit the upright, the thud. Score remains 17-10, the Eagles. First down at the 20 for Matt Schaub and the Atlanta Falcons. Nowhere to go, and they finally go to Jarius Norwood, the running back, who goes upfield and is tackled at the 28-yard line after an 8-yard pickup. So David Akers, a rare miss, first career miss under 30 yards in 52 attempts, trying to get those bad kicks out of the way before the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that graphic tells it all. I mean, this guy is Mr. Dependable from this range. You can see where they never got the ball turned. He wound up kicking the laces. which is a holder, something you never want to do. But because he bobbled the snap, he really had no choice.
Affected his timing as well, obviously. Norwood will get the first down for the Falcons with under 5.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Dick Stockton, Troy Aikman, Pam Oliver. The Eagles took the field and moments later found out that the Detroit Lions had defeated the Dallas Cowboys, thus giving the Eagles the NFC East title. Unbelievable when you consider they were 5-6 at one point, having lost one of the marquee players in the league, Donovan McNabb. Jeff Garcia came in. Other reasons, as well as Garcia, a factor. 4 wins later, their division champs. Jarius Norwood finds an opening. And a good-looking running back who has averaged over 6 yards per carry coming in.
You know, and I know our Jimmy Johnson, back in the pregame show earlier today, talked about Andy Reid and how he should be a Coach of the Year candidate. And I agree with that. I mean, there's no question that Eric Mangini and Sean Payton, Jeff Fisher have done great jobs. But Andy Reid, I mean, those within the organization, they feel like this has been the best job of coaching that Andy Reid has done in the 8 seasons that he has been here. You know what? I'd have to agree with that. You mentioned the injuries that he's been able to overcome, and he's done a great job.
Matt Schaub, and the catch seemingly made, and it is by Norwood. 17-yard play, tiptoeing down the sideline with Dhani Jones defending.
Well, that gives you an idea of the skill level of Matt Schaub and the balls that he's capable of throwing. I mean, he had to lay that one right over the defender and into the hands of Jarius Norwood, and just an excellent job. This is not an easy throw to make. They're over Dhani Jones. You can tell there's not much room there to fit that ball in, and yet he was able to do it.
Third-round pick out of the University of Virginia in the third round, native of Pittsburgh, PA. What else? Another Pittsburgh-born quarterback in the league. Schaub quickly to Jenkins, and Considine is right there to hit him hard after a pickup of 4. Well, later tonight, ring in the new year Fox style with the Fox New Year's Eve special live from Times Square with special performances by Daughtry and Tony Braxton. That's later tonight at 11 p.m. right here, only on Fox.
What are you doing for New Year's Eve, Dick?
Flying home. And you are too, but you may get there a little ahead. Here's the handoff to Warwick Dunn. And I want to wish you and our crew, good to be with you guys the last couple of weeks. A happy and healthy new year and a good playoff ahead.
Yeah, that goes for everybody on this end as well. We spent the last couple of years here, New Year's in Philadelphia. He's celebrating a little early.
You know, as time goes on, they like you more and more in this town, you know.
Do they really?
Notice that? I think so.
I do like Philadelphia. I tell you, and I think Jimmy knew that he would not have to be coming back here to the city.
3rd and 1. And here is Fred McCrary with his first appearance of the game. Catches the pass for the first down to the 35.
You know, one of the guys that this Atlanta team has really missed is that guy there, Brian Finneran. He was the leading wide receiver, not the leading receiver. That went to Algie Crumpler, but he was a leading wide receiver for this team last year. You know, a big target and a guy that Michael Vick has had great confidence in, and he came up with the big play over and over. And I don't think it could be overstated, you know, how significant that loss was in training camp when he went down for the year.
Especially when you consider the inexperience with the other wide receivers. Roddy White, though, he's promising, makes the catch for the first down. And, of course, Ashley Lilly, the former Denver Bronco, out for this game with a separated shoulder.
Yeah, and you're starting to see Matt Schaub get into a real comfort zone throwing the football. He's starting to deliver the football on target and on time. You know, I had a chance to watch him during warm-ups today, and a very impressive guy. I've always believed when you watch a quarterback, there should be something about him, if he's going to be a franchise quarterback, that really impresses you when you watch him throw, you know, just one-on-one with a receiver. And he has that. Then it's just a matter of, okay, well, can he take it to the game on Sundays? And I believe that he'll be able to do that as well.
Here's a fake. Trying to get away. And the pass thrown away. So that was an alert play. Good decision-making as Jerome McDougal all of a sudden in the face of Matt Schaub.
You know, and you just kind of wonder if you were really evaluating this franchise honestly, You know, does Matt Schaub give this organization the best chance to be successful? And I don't know what the answer is to that, but I do know that when you look at Greg Knapp and his background as a West Coast coach in a West Coast system, you know, Matt Schaub is certainly more designed to execute that type of offense. But with the contract that Michael Vick has and the investment they have in him, we'll never know.
Warwick Dunn on 2nd and 10 with under a minute. That is the major dilemma that the Falcons face, because right in their own house, they have a coach that knows how to run that kind of offense that they want to run here, and a quarterback that probably can deliver it. But then you have Michael Vick.
Well, and I think that Greg Knapp and this staff really, and rightfully so, has done everything they can to put Michael Vick in the best possible situation to have success.
3rd and 1, the quarterback sneak by Schaub, and he'll have the first down. And that should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And there is the Atlanta Falcons brain trust. Rich McKay with the jacket off, and Arthur Blank with the jacket on, looking natty as usual. That'll be the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Eagles 17 and the Falcons 10. Well, not only did Elvis leave the building, but you could say the same for Michael Vick, who got hurt in the first series after a successful onside kick in the 3rd quarter. Had an ankle injury, and so Matt Schaub came in, and we've been talking about Matt Schaub, and the Falcons would hate to see a quarterback of that promise get away, but this is a franchise, of course, that once traded Brett Favre.
Well, and again, I mean, Matt Schaub, you know, until
Play clock has malfunctioned.
Until he goes out and proves it and leads his own team, you know, it's all just merely speculation. But I do know that within this organization, there's a tremendous amount of respect for Matt Schaub and his abilities. And I also know around the league, there's a lot of people out there that have a great appreciation for Matt Schaub's abilities. And he's going to get an opportunity to lead a football team, and it's probably going to be next season, and we'll see what type of player that he is. I know he's looking forward to that opportunity. But it's a situation here where there's an investment in Michael Vick, and he's the quarterback of this football team, and rightfully so. And he's going to be the guy that leads the Atlanta Falcons.
Play clock malfunction, fixed up, and the handoff to Warwick Dunn on 1st down. Gets to the 9-yard line, and for a game break, let's go out to Joe once more.
Dick, go catch Elvis. That's your ride to the airport. The Ravens trying to solidify their number 2 seed in the AFC playoff picture. Chris McAllister to the house, 31 yards, 5th career interception, return for a touchdown. 16-7, Ravens on top at home over Buffalo. Back to Dick, Troy, and Penn.
Well, an interesting driver outfit then if Elvis is going to be driving us.
You don't think he'd leave you, do you, Dick?
I hope not. Here's the AFC playoff picture. 2nd down and 6. Here is Warwick Dunn. Hunting and pecking for running room, and it breaks down. No gain on the play. We're in the opening minute of this final quarter. Of course, the Eagles' major domo is Jeff Lurie. And you talk about stability, that has marked this franchise for several years.
That's right. I mean, it's easy to point to Andy Reid and talk about the stability that he provides this football team, but it all starts with Jeff Lurie. I mean, he's unwavering in his support of this coaching staff, and the players know that, and it's just a solid organization. Not surprising why they've had the success they've had.
3rd and 6, Schaub pass, caught for the touchdown by Algie Crumpler. And the Falcons are with an extra point of tying this game up. 9-yard strike.
You know, for a big guy, Algie Crumpler, he really does run good routes. He's working against Sheldon Brown. He starts to the inside and then spins out of that little pivot move. And then Schaub, knowing that that's what he's going to do, puts it on him as soon as he comes out of his break, in a well-positioned throw.
8th touchdown catch of the year for Crumpler, who's going to his 4th straight Pro Bowl. And Morton Anderson's extra point is good. And the Falcons have tied this game with the Eagles at 17 early here in the 4th quarter. Game tied at 17. Donovan McNabb watching 3 other quarterbacks throw touchdown passes today. A.J. Feely, along with Michael Vick and Matt Schaub of the Falcons, as his backup Jeff Garcia. But Donovan's having a heck of a time up there.
Yeah, I saw his father, but I didn't see his mom, Wilma.
Kickoff by Keenan, and Mahe covers it up at the 2. It goes down at the 10. There's Wilma.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Radio Shack. By T. Rowe Price, mutual funds, IRAs, college savings. Invest with confidence. By Subway Restaurants, Subway, eat fresh. And by Cadillac. The best Cadillac stories aren't just lived, they're shared. Share yours online with us.
17 all the score. There's Matt Schaub, who threw the touchdown pass moments ago, and the first TD pass in the 4th quarter for the Falcons this year. So Michael Vick had not thrown one since week 11 last year. Schaub gets it done here as Feely's pass open, making the catch is Hank Baskett down the sidelines, and Baskett will score. Hank Baskett with an 89-yard touchdown pass from Feely. He caught an 87-yarder against the Dallas Cowboys back in week 5. He of the big play. So A.J. Feely now has thrown 3 TD scores.
Well, good route by Hank Baskett, but it looked like Jimmy Williams, 24, should have gotten underneath that throw. You know, you got the safety, Chris Crocker, who was playing on top of Baskett, and it was just a corner route, but there was nobody threatening to the flat on Jimmy Williams, and then normally in that coverage, the corner will fall underneath it and take that throw away. But a good executed play by the Philadelphia Eagles.
David Akers gives the Eagles a 24-17 lead. So Baskett with his 2nd TD catch of the year, and Feely having a ball in this week 16. There's Michael Vick on the sideline, sprained ankle, knocked him out of the game early in the 3rd quarter. Terrell Buckhalter came out early of this game when he was put in for Brian Westbrook, when Andy Reid took out most of his starters, when the Eagles knew they had won the division titles with the Lions' upset of the Cowboys. Kickoff to Allen Rawson. Takes about 3 Eagles to bring him down at the 30. Return of 22.
Now you go back and take another look at the touchdown, and you're going to see Jimmy Williams right here. They're in a 2-deep coverage there. Actually, he did get someone in the flat, which held him just enough. That's the design of the route by the offense, holding Jimmy Williams and then able to get the ball in there off of Chris Crocker. And A.J. Feely hasn't had a lot of chances over the years to celebrate some of these touchdown throws, but he goes 90 yards on this one. That's a great feeling for any quarterback when you've thrown a touchdown like that.
That was the longest touchdown play of the year from scrimmage for the Eagles, as Warwick Dunn going off the left side and just shy of the line, and a first down and a penalty flag down. 9-yard pickup.
Holding offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Nullify the gain with the penalty to Roddy White.
Yeah, that was a pretty obvious call. I saw it from here the entire time it was happening. There he is engaged with Roderick Hood, and he just never let go and let Hood go try to make a play on the ball.
1st and 20.
Tell you what, A.J. Feely is having a heck of a ball game here tonight.
Now a black belt. From the 20-yard line, Matt Schaub hitting Norwood, and Norwood down on the play made by Dhani Jones. Well, the Eagles and the Giants, you were there for both of them. Plexico Burress with the overtime catch after a huge Eagle lead of 24-3. Then in week 15, a lot closer in Giant Stadium, but the Eagles win that one. So they both won on the opposite opposite team's field and will meet for the third time next Sunday on Fox.
Well, and as we know, the Eagles have won 4 in a row coming into this game, but I think it was that Giants game to where they really started believing they had something special going, because those first 2 wins against Carolina and Washington, they really didn't play real good football in those.
Second down and 17. Crumpler. So the wild card matchup next Sunday on Fox begins at 4 o'clock Eastern with the pregame show, 1 p.m. Pacific. The Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Giants talk away the points scored. The away team has done well in the fourth quarter and overtime, as you can see. So that sets up what should be a dramatic and intense game between these 2 rivals. Giants buoyed by their victory over Washington last night. Matt Schaub with plenty of time, and making the play is Dwayne Blakely, tight end. And Blakely with the catch at the 45 of the Eagles. Quentin Michael defending.
Well, Matt Schaub, he got plenty of time in the pocket to deliver this throw. He's auditioning probably for a lot of teams here tonight. And that's a pretty good look right there of exactly what Matt Schaub saw when he delivered that ball. Good coverage by Matt McCoy, but yet Schaub lays it right over his hands and into the hands of Blakely.
28 yards. Warren Dunn. And Dunn picking up 4. Jerome McDougal making the play. The Giants going against the Eagles next week. Let's talk a little bit more of that. And Eli Manning now, it was Tiki Barber's game, dominating last night. But, you know, Manning threw 1 touchdown pass. Didn't make any mistakes, but he's got to come up big in that game for the Giants.
There's no question. He's in a little bit of a slump right now. He's not throwing the ball well. And you can't count on that from Tiki Barber each week. He's going to have to be a factor if they're going to win games in the playoffs.
Schaub on the move. And will step out of bounds after a minimal gain.
You know, but if you think back to what got all this started, you know, again, for the Philadelphia Eagles, that win against Carolina, Lito Shepherd intercepts a pass in the end zone, which secures that victory. Didn't look particularly good the way that it happened. And yet they've been able to gain a little confidence and win some games. And now they're a very confident team going into the playoffs. You know, who's to say that that can't happen with the New York Giants? They won a game last night, didn't play particularly well, but I think that they will come into this game next week against these Eagles. They always do, and it'll be a tight ball game.
Well, they have a new life. That's the way they have to look at it. And Matt Schaub's pass, and it's intercepted by Sean Considine. He's been around the ball all game. And Considine, who became a starter in week 7, picks this one off. It was intended for Dwayne Blakely. And that's the first interception of the year for number 37.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Volkswagen Jetta. Safe happens.
Sean Considine with the interception for the Eagles. That's first turnover by the Falcons. Jim Morris, team trying to wind up at 500 on the year and pass the basket. And riding him out of bounds was Jimmy Williams as we check in with Pam.
Yeah, Dick, I spoke with Jim Mora before the game, and I must have asked him 3 times how he's handling all the speculation that he's going to be fired. Finally, he said, you know, it's hard. I've got 4 kids and a foundation in Atlanta. We're just getting off the ground. But he said when you're a head coach in the NFL, everybody has their turn. And then he proceeded to wield an imaginary baseball bat, indicating that he's the one being whacked with it. Mora said he spoke with owner Arthur Blank a couple of times this week, but that he doesn't know anything. Blank politely declined discussing the matter when I approached him before the game.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. Second down and 1, and the handoff to Ryan Moats. There's no question, however, that that radio interview, which Jim Morris said he was just joking when he had said December 6th that he would like the University of Washington job done with a friend of his out in the Pacific Coast, according to reports, the most egregious thing, because Arthur Blank, you know, felt that it might be a disloyal kind of comment, and Jim Morris said that he was joking, and people who heard it thought not, but whatever it is, it's one of those damage control items.
Well, reports are that Arthur Blank didn't buy into the comments made by Jim Mora that he was joking. I think anybody that listened to that interview would come away saying he wasn't joking.
Feely gets basket, the second option, flag down.
You know, the other part of that, Dick, is, you know, the comments made by Jim Mora Sr., there's no question that
illegal contact, defense, number 56. Penalties decline, first down.
There's no question that that made an impact on Michael Vick, because Michael Vick even talked about it this week and saying that, you know, he hasn't yet gotten over those remarks. And I do know that Arthur Blank thinks an awful lot of Michael Vick. And I thought it was very telling this week with all the spin that was coming out of Atlanta. Not once did Michael Vick say he wanted to see Jim Mora back as his head coach. And I think the fact that he did not come out and say that was very telling. And how much is Michael Vick's thoughts going to weigh in on what ultimately happens with Jim Mora?
Ryan Moats with the run. In fact, what Michael Vick has talked about is the fact that the team is underachieved. He said we have too much talent here and we just can't come out every week to try to wing it, was the way Michael Vick put it.
Well, I think that one of the things that has probably hurt Jim Mora the most as a head coach has been, it just seems like he wants to establish too close of a personal relationship with too many of the key players within the football team. And I've been a part of some teams that we've had head coaches that have tried that. I think it becomes very, very difficult then in tough times to separate yourself from that and really be able to be the head coach that sometimes a team needs.
Incomplete to Reno Mahe.
You know, the other part of that, though, Dick, is, you know, I think sometimes it's very easy to say, well, we want to make a change. And sometimes those feelings, you know, are justified. But if you do make a change, who are you going to make a change to? And if you don't have somebody in line as far as who's going to be the head coach, and I don't know what exactly Arthur Blank and the Atlanta Falcons are going to decide. But if they don't have somebody that they think is going to do a better job than Jim Mora in place, then I don't think you make that move.
Timeout, Eagles. We'll be right back. Well, a little early for St. Patrick's Day, or for that matter, the Mummers Parade, annually celebrated on Thanksgiving Day in Philadelphia. Perfect vision for the Eagle as we have 3rd down and 10 with under 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. A.J. Feely in Falcon territory, throwing incomplete. And that will bring up 4th down and 10. And Feely saying it was me.
Yeah, he had a shot at Matt Schobel. Matt Schobel ran a good route, and you know, this has got to be fun for him as well, because like I said, he's getting a lot of opportunities to be on the receiving end of some passes today. But A.J. Feely knows that he missed him on that one and could have kept that drive alive.
So Dirk Johnson back to kick, and Alan Rossum standing at the 10 for the Falcons. Good hang time. The ball bounces at the 3, and unable to keep it in play was Greg Lewis. Well, 2 weeks from tonight at 8/7 Central, don't miss the explosive 2-night, 4-hour season premiere of 24. A new day begins 2 weeks from tonight at 8/7 Central, right here only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, Arthur Blank has come out of the sky boxes and going over to Michael Vick first for the good wishes for the new year. 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Falcons. Jarius Norwood is the running back, and he gets the call and gets a big opening, and still on his feet, getting the 1st down and almost getting to the 40-yard line. But Hansen brings him down after a gain of 18. And Troy made a very good point about, you know, fans and people say, well, let's get rid of the coach and everything. You have to have the right guy come in. And of course, when you do have a new coach, you have new coordinators, a new system. You know, the Sean Payton situation in New Orleans is a rarity, where a coach comes in the first year does as well as he did.
That's right, and then you say, okay, well, you know, what type of offense is it that you're going to run? I mean, I think you're...
Norwood. Running one with Norwood wouldn't be a bad one. 17 yards.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jarius Norwood, I think is going to be a really good football player in this league for a while. He's got great quickness. He's a tough guy for someone that's got the speed that he has, and he's learned a lot throughout this rookie season. You can see him there, you know, not shying away from contact. I had a chance to visit with him on the field prior to the game, and you know, he admitted, as most rookies do, at some point late in the year they hit the wall. He said he hit the wall about week 10, and it's very hard for these rookie players to fight through that, but he's been able to.
From the 44 of the Eagles, Matt Schaub going underneath to Justin Griffith, who's hit immediately. And a loss of 1. Well, the bowl action will start tomorrow, and what a great week coming up ahead. The Tostitos Bowl Bash begins with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Nebraska takes on Auburn. Then it's the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl as Boise State looks to complete unbeaten season when they battle the Oklahoma Sooners. The Tostitos Bowl Bash begins tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific in high definition, only on Fox. You'll be glued to your television all week watching those games. Norwood up the middle for a couple.
You know what I like? You look at the sidelines here for the Philadelphia Eagles and Andy Reid and Jim Johnson. I mean, these guys are still coaching these players up. I mean, they definitely want them to continue to play well and go into the playoffs feeling good about themselves. And with that, you know, in order to do that, you know, a win today would go a long ways in helping them achieve that. And so, you know, they don't take any days off. There's no question about that. And that's, again, one of the reasons why Jeff Garcia has enjoyed playing here so much.
3rd down and 8. Empty backfield. Schaub takes off. Will get the first down. No one up ahead. And he finally slides in an awkward style to the 23.
Yeah, you're going to see things open up as he drops back right up the middle. And the coverage there on Warrick Dunn, and then he goes ahead and takes it. And not the smoothest slide you've ever seen. A little bit of a Charlie Hustle head first jobby there.
Something first.
So yeah, maybe a hip first.
First down with under 3.5 to play. Hand off to Warrick Dunn. And Dunn getting to the 20-yard line. He scored the Falcons' only touchdown in that NFC Championship game loss to the Eagles in 2004.
Well, I think he's an awfully good running back and someone who, you know, I think people around the league respect, but as far as probably the average NFL fan, probably does not get as much respect or as much recognition as he deserves. He's a very good football player and has been in this league for a while.
2nd down and 6. The Eagles lead 24-17. And here is Dunn. And Dunn tackled from behind by Omar Gaither, rookie from Tennessee, making his 5th start today, and one of the big additions to Jim Johnson's defensive unit to help turn that tide.
Yeah, he really helped them. You know, Matt McCoy got banged up. His shoulder was bothering him. And so several weeks back, they went with Omar Gaither and inserted him into the lineup. And he's one of the reasons also that this defense has been improved in recent weeks against the run.
3rd down and 3. Matt Schaub pass caught by Crumpler, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Falcons as we get to the 2-minute warning. An 8-yard pickup, and the Falcons needing a touchdown and an extra point to tie this game. We'll be back. 3,000 miles off. Handoff to Warrick Dunn. And Dunn gets to about the 3-yard line. 4-yard pickup for Warrick Dunn. Talk about injuries that have affected teams. Javon Kearse, who hurt his knee, out for the year, went on injured reserve in week 2. How about losing Javon Kearse, even though Trent Cole came in and had a great year?
Yeah, they lost him in that overtime loss to the New York Giants there in week 2, and it did change things up for them along that defensive line. No longer were they then able to rotate guys as much as they had been.
Second down and goal. And here is Dunn. And Dunn is stopped at about the 1.
That was Quentin Michael, too. I mean, you talked about last week and the job that he did on the goal line stand against the Dallas Cowboys. He does another great job here, stopping Warrick Dunn.
Timeout, Eagles. Eagles have 1 timeout left. Jeff Garcia with a 4-1 record sitting this one out. Arthur Blank on the sideline, as he usually comes toward the end of every Falcon game.
He and Jerry Jones, they've got that routine down, don't they? They both head down there to the sidelines in the waning moments of the 4th quarter.
11th play of the drive, 3rd and goal. They'll mark it at the 2. And Schaub falls down and is sat on, so to speak, by Matt McCoy. So 4th and goal.
It looked like he must have gotten stepped on coming out of there. You know, oftentimes an offensive lineman, usually a center, you know, will be the one that steps on his foot.
And the Eagles calling their last timeout.
He just stumbled. He just tripped over himself. He just tripped over himself coming out of there, as you're going to see right there. His left leg is why he fell, and that's disappointing for the Atlanta Falcons not to be given at least an opportunity here on that 3rd down play to score the touchdown.
Well, they're going to try it here on 4th down and goal from the 10-yard line. Jeremiah Trotter came onto the field to give the defense a little pep talk.
Oh, Axman getting them going.
All right, here, 4th down and goal from the 10, with the Falcons trailing by a touchdown. Matt Schaub fires, tipped away, incomplete, and the Eagles take over on downs. Michael Jenkins, and it's Joselio Hansen, who has made several big plays today for the Eagles, in a reserve role, of course, and the Eagles will take over on downs, preserving their lead.
Well, it's a good drive there by the Atlanta Falcons, even getting down inside the 10-yard line with a chance to tie the game, but a good stand by the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's the route by Michael Jenkins. And if the ball's thrown a little bit further to the inside, maybe he's got an opportunity, but high and behind, Jenkins had no chance.
Now the Falcons have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And with 1:06 on the clock, we'll use them here as Jeremiah Trotter, because of the situation with the Cowboys losing, the Eagles wrapping up the NFC East title without having to win today, observing from the sidelines. And off to Reno Mahe. And Falcons call a timeout. Thanks to our production and our technical staff, wishing them all a happy new year. Today's game produced by Richie Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. The technical producer is Joe Stevens. Technical director is Rich Basili, and the audio mixer is Fred Alduis. Associate directors are Marcy Kempner and Judy Huang. Production coordinator is Francisco Contreras. Broadcast associates are Zach Fields and Rich Gross. The coordinating producer of the pregame show is Scott Ackerson, and the director is Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Chris Visser has been our spotter, and Rick Odioso, our statistician, thanks to them. Reno Mahe. And wrestled down by Ed Hartwell as the Falcons call their 2nd timeout. They have 1 left. Well, coming up, the OT presented by Lowe's. So don't go anywhere. Joe, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from Los Angeles. Fox Sports ticker. And what about the future of Bill Cowher? That's an issue.
Well, that's an interesting one, too. I mean, I've got to believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers would want to see him come back, but what does Bill Cowher want to do?
Supposed to be this week that he is going to announce his plans, and I guess they were attempting to negotiate an extension during the year, and whatever happened there did not break, kind of broke down, you might say.
Well, I'm one of those guys, I'll tell you, that if you look around the league at the teams that are successful, they have tremendous coaching at the top, from the head coaches, and nobody exemplifies that better than Bill Cowher and the job that he's done during his tenure with the Pittsburgh Steelers. If he leaves, I mean, those are going to be pretty big shoes to fill for whoever comes in.
Dan Rooney has hired just 2 coaches in his life, Chuck Noll and Bill Cowher.
Well, his track record suggests that he'll hire another good one if he has to.
3rd down and 6. Feely will slide. And that'll be it. And a timeout called. The Falcons' 3rd and final timeout. And when this game is over, we will send you to bonus coverage of the finale between the 49ers and the Denver Broncos, who are trailing right now. Denver needs to win to make the playoffs. If they don't, the New York Jets will be the 5th seed in the AFC, and Kansas City will eke in as the 6th seed.
I mean, that would really be amazing when you think about it, for Denver to put themselves in this position to where all they really had to do was win today's game. And so many other teams are reliant on other things happening and determining their fate. And then to lose to San Francisco. San Francisco has surprised a lot of people this year in the way in which they've played. But I think everybody would have thought that Denver would be able to win that game there in Denver.
Well, the 49ers kicking a field goal have taken a 23-16 lead over Denver right now, so they're up by a touchdown. Dirk Johnson kicking to a very dangerous Allen Rossum, fielding this one at the 41. Flag down. That'll likely go against Atlanta the way he was running, and possible illegal block or holding. 43-yard punt. Feely with a job today, 3 touchdown passes with about a half a minute remaining, and no timeouts remaining for either team.
There are 2 fouls during the return. Illegal block in the back, receiving team, number 31. Personal foul, grasping the face mask, kicking team, number 96. Penalties offset at the spot of the receiving team's foul. 1st down, Atlanta.
Michael Vick with an ankle sprain, now on the sideline after sitting most of the second half.
And here's a chance to look at what happened here with Gaither, but
Lance Schulters with a block on Considine.
Yeah, and both of those on Gaither, and then Considine is where the flags were thrown.
Well, what a revival for Jeff Garcia's career, starting with the 49ers, going to Cleveland and Detroit. Had 2 offers, Houston and Philadelphia. Said, decided to go with the better team. Went with the Eagles, and it's paid off. Flag is down. Schaub's pass, and it's incomplete, but a penalty marker down with under a half a minute on the clock. And that'll go against the Falcons.
Holding offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Wayne Gandy.
He gets him there with the left hand, and then goes to the ground and pulls him down with him. I tell you, these officials haven't been shy about throwing the laundry today.
First down and 20. The ball back to the 31 of the Falcons. 26 seconds to go. Eagles leading 24-17. Pass thrown underneath to Warwick Dunn, and he'll go out of bounds. Stop the clock with 19 ticks. He got 7 on that play.
When you got a backup quarterback, like Atlanta has in Matt Schaub, you never really know how much work they get in practice in being in the no-huddle 2-minute offense. Typically, the starter is the only guy who gets that work during the week.
Matt Schaub with practically an 83 passer rating. Second down and 13. And going deep, Roddy White. And White makes the catch. A beautifully timed play by Roddy White on the Hail Mary. The clock is running out. They're not going to get it off. The game is over, and the Eagles have won it. So a 48-yard pass, and the Falcons can't get downfield fast enough. The Eagles wind up 10-6. They win the NFC East. The Falcons end up 7-9 on the year. And Roddy White with the catch, but with no timeouts remaining, the Falcons couldn't get it set up for one last play. So the final score, the Philadelphia Eagles 24 and the Atlanta Falcons 17. And we'll be back here in Philadelphia in just a moment, and we're still going to head you out to Denver for the finale of the 49ers-Broncos game. For Troy Aikman and Pam Oliver, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long from Philadelphia. The final score, the Eagles 24, the Falcons 17. Right now we're going to take you to bonus coverage of the 49ers-Broncos game. Send you Denver, Kurt Menefee, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. So long, everybody.